Hello friends, this is Neha Tulsyan. Welcome to another video on Pickaboo Designs channel. Today I'm here to share with you guys some fun techniques using stencils. Stencil is a very versatile product and every card maker should have stencils with them. Also stencils are cheaper and you can create different techniques with stencils. So to start, I have a piece of heavy weight cardstock in A2 size and I have taped it using some painter's tape all around. And then I have taped my stencil above the cardstock. So for my first technique here, I'm using Versama clear embossing ink and using the ink pad directly over the stencil. Once I had covered the whole cardstock, I removed my stencil and then all the painter's tape from my cardstock, and now I'm applying embossing powder all over the panel. I had these two beautiful embossing powders from zinc lying in my stash for a very long time, and I thought this would be perfect for using it on today's technique. So you can see I have applied the first embossing powder on the first top of the panel, and then I'm applying the second embossing powder on the lower half of the panel. So I'm being careful that I don't apply the green powder over the blue. And once I have nicely coated the panel with embossing powder, I am setting it with my heat tool. So this was my first technique to create backgrounds using stencils and heat embossing. Before going to the next technique, do remember to clean your stencils and your work surface properly. For my next technique here, I am using distress inks and mini blending tools. I have started with abandoned coral distress ink, and with the help of mini blending tool I am applying the ink over the stencil in circular motion. Now I am using mermaid lagoon, and with a different mini blending tool I am blending the ink uh, below the abandoned coral. Now again I am using the abandoned coral, will be using mermaid lagoon. So I'm creating a background using these two colors all over the background, using them alternatively. While using distress inks over stencils, you need to go a little heavier on colors. I mean to say, generally when we use distress inks for blending or creating backgrounds, we use very light hands and we try to avoid harsh lines. But with stencils, you need to go on a little heavy with colors. You need to have a lot of color on your mini blending tool so that the color uh, shows the dark color shows through the paper, shows through the stencil over your cardstock. Now for the last technique, I started with a craft cardstock in A2 size. Using a mini blending tool, I am applying white pigment ink all over the stencil. I am going heavily with the white ink over the panel here to get a better impression. And to get a better impression, I am also tapping my mini blending tool over the panel instead of going in circular motion. Once I'm happy with it, I'll remove my stencil, clean the stencil, and use my heat tool to heat set the color as pigment inks dry slow. For the next step, I have taped my clean stencil over the panel. But before taping the stencil, I have slightly overset it towards my left. Now I'm applying blueprint sketch distress ink all over the panel using mini blending tool. This gives you a very beautiful background with color and white impressions on the craft cardstock. So here are the three backgrounds created using the three techniques and just one stencil. To finish off the cards, I am using a butterfly stamp from Doodled Butterfly Stamp Set, and I'm heat embossing the image using liquid platinum embossing powder from Ranges. Once I've heat set the images, I'll color these butterflies using Copic markers in the colors of red, green and blue, and then I'll fuzzy cut these butterflies to use them on my card. I'm cutting these panels that I created. I will trim the panels in such a way that there is space between both both the panels when put together on a card. And in between these two panels, I will stamp my sentiment from the same stamp set. So I'm trimming off a little bit extra of the panel to fit my sentiment. Now to stamp the sentiment, I'm marking where the panels will be on my card base using a pencil. Now I will stamp the sentiment using Simon Says Stamp black dye ink in between those two lines so that my panels fit perfectly on my card base. Now I'll erase the pencil lines here, and with the help of foam tape I will stick my panels over the card base, and they will fit perfectly like a puzzle. And then I will stick the heat embossed butterfly using some multimedia matte glue from Ranges in between the panel below the sentiment. I have folded the butterfly in from middle to give it a little raised and 3D look. And I have used the same finishing techniques to finish off my other two cards. So these were my cards for today, created using different techniques on stencils. Let me know which ones was your favorite in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.